It's been nearly a decade since low-power field devices began to appear using Zigbee as their mesh protocol. A consensus that Zigbee was not robust enough led to the formation of the ISA 100 Standards Committee. And a desire to extend the HART protocol to the wireless realm created the push toward what became Wireless HART. So where have we come in the past few years? Hi, I'm Walt Boyes, editor of Control and ControlGlobal.com, and this is the cover story for August 2010. The topic is wireless. Well, for one thing, Wireless HART has become an IEC standard, IEC 62591. And so has a competing or complementary standard, depending, from China. ISA 100.11a is undergoing a rework and is expected to be released again later this year. Zigbee has been strengthened and is being positioned for use in smart grid applications. So there are still 4 competitive standards, as we discussed last year. And if you're interested, you can see it online at ControlGlobal.com. The big issue in wireless field networks is convergence. Can there be convergence between the standards? Well, there's an active convergence dialogue going on between Wireless HART supporters and ISA 100 supporters that has been pushed by some major end users. Hesh Kagan, Technology Innovation Director for Invensys, says, "It's not a technology issue. Convergence can work if the key players want it to work." Pat Schweitzer of ExxonMobil and one of the co-chairs of ISA 100 agrees. From an end user's point of view, technically, there is no issue. Both base specs were developed under the same premise. One is constrained only by the applications layer that was adopted. The base networking is almost the same. The better answer is, can the supplier community ever come together to meet the user's expectations? David Land, Field Instrumentation Network Lead from ConocoPhillips, agrees. "I hope so," he says. "Not sure it can be done at this point." But another senior engineer with a consumer products company who asked for anonymity said, "I don't care." Of course, if end users don't care, they'll wind up with multiple standards, and then they will care a lot. The ISA 100.12 committee, which was set up to manage convergence, hopes to include Zigbee and the new Chinese standard, as well as Wireless HART, in a fully converged ISA 100 standard. However, a survey of many ISA 100 committee members showed them divided into 2 basic camps. The first, mostly comprised of end users, feel that convergence has to work. And the other group feels that convergence is a chimera and will be stuck with competing standards. Full convergence, meaning coexistence of Wireless HART, ISA 100, and Zigbee products within the same subnet, is not realistic and not really useful, says Jean-Pierre Hoet of KB Intelligence. These subnets will comprise no more than 100 field devices. The development of backbone routers allowing the transparent communication between subnets should suffice. Lou DeSilvio of Industrial Telemetry Incorporated is quite blunt. Yes, ultimately it may be made to work. And octagonal tires would work on cars if you could stand the ride. From the end user and EPC point of view, Scott Summer of Jacobs Engineering says, "I don't need wireless standards to converge. I need them to play nicely together in the same airspace. To me, this is a silly concept. Did we ever need 4 to 20 milliamp, 24 volt DC, and 120 volt AC to converge? No, we just let them play nicely in the same space by providing each with their own connections and making sure they stay separated," he said. In a recent ControlGlobal.com survey, while 46% of respondents say it's just a nuisance, 54% said that competing standards are keeping them from deciding on implementing a wireless field device network or making them look for alternatives to wireless. What's that? Alternatives to wireless? Well, this is an ironic twist, but because of the delays in producing wireless field devices and agreeing on a common standard, wireless sensors may have missed their window, or at least part of it. For wireless HART, one of the chief arguments has been the stranded data, diagnostics, other values, timestamps, etc., in the over 25 million or 30 million installed HART transmitters that need to be extracted. Our survey indicates that 62% of end-user respondents seriously question the utility of that data. Our survey of ISA 100 members bears this out as well. Our anonymous engineer from the consumer products company is very clear. No, he says, we don't use HART data now, so getting stranded data diagnostics is of almost no value to us. Of course, that anonymous engineer may change his tune when he sees what value that stranded data is giving his competitors. And he probably will. And in another twist, wireless sensor pricing appears to be having an effect negatively on the adoption rate of wireless sensor networks in process plants. Our survey indicated that over 70% of respondents thought that pricing currently is either way overpriced or moderately overpriced. Only about 28% of respondents seemed satisfied with current pricing. Art Sampson, a product manager with Hawk Corporation, is really emphatic about what he sees in the market. With HART wireless adapters costing around $800, the price will need to drop 75% to be viable in municipal markets, Sampson says. The argument is that prices will come down as soon as more competition arrives on the scene. Invensys' Kagan says there will be a coming together of supply and demand. There always is. The largest cost associated with wireless sensors is packaging. The radio is very low cost. The gateway is hopefully amortized over a large number of sensors. He goes on, the real issue around price is competition. As more vendors enter the sensor market, the price will come down and the utilization will go up. Emerson's Vice President of Wireless, Bob Karshnia, has a slightly different view. He says the cost of a wireless measurement point needs to be compared to the total cost of wiring the same point. He goes on, several studies have shown that the installed cost is reduced by 50 to 80%. Time savings are also a huge factor, not only the actual billable hours that are saved, but also the longevity of the overall project. So if you just ask the question in one direction, you get one answer, which is too expensive. If you ask it another, you get a different answer. The best way to evaluate pricing is through some sort of conjoint where trade-offs are made because those are the decisions that customers really make. At this point in the adoption curve, lower prices would not increase the adoption rate at all. Additionally, economies of scale will kick in as volumes rise, and this will help with pricing, he concluded. I think that perhaps Karshnia is overstating his case to keep prices high, and I don't agree with his pricing analysis. But I don't have to deliver on his company's largest technology initiative either, and he does. In a Control Global survey done in March 2010 in cooperation with Aprion, 41% of respondents identified the cost of wireless devices and infrastructure as the number one barrier to wireless device deployment at their plants. One dirty little secret about wireless field sensor development is batteries. Maintenance superintendents absolutely cringe when they start counting the number of batteries required for wireless field devices. But ABB displayed a wireless HART temperature transmitter being powered by an energy harvesting device at the 2010 Automation and Power World event in Houston in May. The difficulties both in maintenance and in hazardous material handling and destruction that are posed by batteries have given energy harvesting devices a huge new impetus. Now, backbones, which are the real heart of industrial wireless and which can carry voice and video as well as data throughout the plant, are converging as well. Ariana Drivdal, product marketing manager for industrial wireless for Moxa, notes, convergence of wireless and remote automation is already happening. There's a growing number of interesting applications that utilize wireless technologies like GPRS, HSDPA, and Wi-Fi to enable remote monitoring of industrial processes. How important are Wi-Fi, VoIP, WiMAX, and other backbone technologies to the industrial wireless space? Gareth Johnston, the lead wireless engineer for ABB, says, quite important, as there are already mobile worker and site security technologies that are using these products. According to a report on surveys, the State of Industrial Wireless 2010, that was jointly conducted by ControlGlobal.com and Aprion, While wireless sensors for condition monitoring continue to garner significant interest and will certainly help drive further wireless adoption, the increased interest in wireless appears to be focused on other application areas. Video monitoring, communications, workforce mobility, not wireless sensor networks, are the three application areas receiving the greatest interest today. Another ControlGlobal.com Apprion report, the State of Industrial Wireless Communications 2010, indicates that the use of IP-based wireless local area networks, WLAN, will increase by 73% over the next 3 years, while other types of networks will decline or remain flat. The need for greater mobility and unified communications are two factors that appear to be driving the trend toward IP WLAN networks. 61% of plants are actively engaged in developing a unified communication strategy or in the process of implementing the unified communication strategy that they've already developed. Well, there you have it. The real important issues aren't convergence or which standard to support. The real issues for wireless in the process automation environment are just what they've always been for every technology that comes along. What can I do with it that I can't do without it? And how much is it going to cost before I see payback? The more things change, the more they stay the same. This has been another video from the Process Automation Media Network. I'm Walt Boyes. Thanks for watching.